Okay, so we should be live now. I don't know if anybody's watching. How do we check and see if anybody's watching?
Not sure. Someone could ask a question.
Right. Okay. So if anybody's watching this live, do us a favor and you can drop a message in Slack in the WCA2 Ann Arbor channel, or you can use the Q&A app. Let's see. Josh is shooting me a message quick. I'm gonna shoot him a link to where he can watch this.
Okay.
Watch from here. Slack or okay. Okay, great. So first and foremost, welcome everybody. Looks like we have a couple viewers. And if anybody's like just tuning in, welcome. We're glad you're here. This will be recorded and you'll be able to kind of go back to the beginning and watch anything that you missed. So what we want to do is welcome all of our volunteers and give everyone early on an opportunity to get involved. So thank you for offering your assistance with WordCamp Ann Arbor 2016. Josh, there's not a specific Slack group for this, but there is a WP Ann Arbor Slack group. I can get you an invitation if you shoot me your email address. As for anyone else, you can use the Q&A app right here on the Hangout to ask questions or share your thoughts, comment on this Google Plus event, shoot us a message in Slack if you're in a Slack group that we're in. We're not picky about where, we'll get the notification. All right, so we got a lot to cover. All of us have busy days. I want to try and get through this as quick as possible. So I'll introduce myself real quick. My name's Kyle. I don't know if everyone knows me yet, but I'm the lead organizer for WordCamp Ann Arbor this year. Ross Johnson was the lead organizer the last couple of years. We've all been collaborating on it since first year in 2014. WordCamp Ann Arbor, WordCamp Central recommends that lead organizers carry the lead role no more than 2 consecutive years. So we kind of pass the torch along every year, but we still have fundamentally the same organization team since we have when we started. And it's a really great team consisting of myself, Ben Cool. You can say hi, Ben.
Hey, I'm Ben, co-organizer.
Yeah, Ben's been a big help. He works over at A2 Hosting. And we are 2 of a team of about 6 or 7 organizers, consisting of also Declan and Ross from 3.7 Designs, Mark Montague from the University of Michigan, and Justin Fairman from LearnDash. We have a few other kind of organizers emeritus who have helped in past years, but are kind of stepping back to basically just a volunteer role this year, including Rebecca Gill, Chloe Ferryman, and Lindsay Johnson. So we are inviting everyone else to get involved because we need a lot of help this year. We're trying to step things up. So the first thing I want to do is reflect a little bit on past years. So 2014 and 2015 went really well. We had by all measures, we consider those to be successful years. The events went really well. The feedback was great. And we're trying to build upon our successes. But in particular, we want to talk right now about, let's see. Okay, got it. Somebody, Ben, you're addressing questions and stuff. Someone posted something in the Q&A app. Stephen did. So Ben will be responding to those kinds of questions. Where was I? Okay, so we want to reflect a little bit on how things went last year and how we can do better. That's the question we always want to ask every year. How can we do better than last year? So we got a lot of feedback from our surveys that went out after the event to all of our attendees, and we all had our own input to share. And so I'll summarize it briefly. Basically, this past year, we thought things went pretty well. We had a lot of really, really generous and amazing people who stepped up to make the event successful during the day of. But I'll go through some of the things that we believe that we can improve upon. And there's a couple of them. One is that there is a lot that needs to be done leading up to the event. So we had a lot of people step up and volunteer and help out the day of WordCamp. But we did a poor job of really getting more people involved leading up to the event, and the organizers really shouldered all the burdens that needed to be taken care of before the day of the event took place. So we are looking to improve upon that this year and try and get more volunteers involved in the months leading up to WordCamp 2016. That's one area we can improve upon, and that'll help us do a lot of things better. So one of the other things that we observed last year is that it was complicated and at times difficult to coordinate all the volunteers effectively. Ben did a great job last year. He had a master spreadsheet that indicated where all the volunteers were going to be placed during the day, who was responsible for what. And Ben was basically the go-to person, with Declan kind of backing him up when volunteers had questions. However, we did discover that it's a little bit difficult to coordinate that way because Ben had a lot of responsibilities during the day and was often hard to find for volunteers, as was Declan. There were a lot of volunteers who showed up to their post and didn't really know exactly what they were supposed to be doing. And when they had questions, they had difficulty getting them answered. There were volunteers who were unable to fulfill their duties for whatever reason. And it was difficult for us organizers to find substitute volunteers to fill their places. So basically, there were a lot of areas where we thought, we should work on improving the system. And so the new kind of system that we're looking at is breaking things down into teams, really. Thanks, Steve, for joining us. So we're going to look at kind of a team structure this year. And I'll reiterate, just for anybody who's just joining us now, you can this is recorded, so you can go back to the beginning and watch everything, or just follow from now if you want to. Anyway, where was I? Okay, so we're going to have a team structure this year, which is a little bit different than before, where there was really a single person coordinating all volunteers. Ben is going to be the top person responsible for managing volunteers, but below that, there's going to be kind of group leaders who are responsible for different things. For example, on the day of, we're going to do our best to have a single person who is responsible for managing the registration desk in the front desk area. And they would be responsible for making sure there's always somebody there to hand out swag and register people and sign them up and direct them to where they want to go and things like that. So they would be the person who has the answers to everyone's questions, and they would basically always be there. And there would be a single person responsible for coordinating the speakers and speaker introductions and whatever they need to put on good sessions. And that wouldn't necessarily mean they're doing all of the work, but they're the ones responsible for making sure someone does it. Likewise with video, a single video person who is running from room to room to make sure that someone is manning the cameras at all times, things like that. So we're going to have kind of section leaders for different aspects of what needs to be covered. All right. So these are kind of some of the areas that we think we can improve upon is structuring our volunteers a little better and getting people involved more ahead of time. So this is important for a number of reasons. One, because we think that we can do a little bit better than we did last year. There were some things that didn't work as well as we wanted them to, and we don't want to do a disservice to our attendees and anyone participating. And also because we're going bigger this year. As we did last year, we are doing the same again. We're increasing the number of attendees we're going to have. Last year we sold 250 tickets. This year we're going to set the attendance number at 400. And so that's a big increase. We're also going to do a second day. So the last 2 years we did a single day WordCamp just on a Saturday. This year we're doing a Friday and a Saturday. They're going to be different in a number of ways. But still, it's a 2-day event now instead of a 1-day. At least that's our current plan. We're still working on securing the Friday venue, but this is what we plan to do. So we need to be even more well organized just because it's a much bigger event than last year. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to run through all the responsibilities that there are to make this event a success, and in particular cover all the different tasks that we have available for volunteers to help out. So what we did about a month ago is we made a spreadsheet, and at this time I would invite everyone who wants access to this spreadsheet to view it, to share their email address, their Google email address in the Q&A app, I guess would be preferred. Just post it there or give it to Ben in Slack or something, so that we can share this spreadsheet with you. All right, so then we'll start talking about it, and you're going to see when you get the spreadsheet shared with you that there's a lot of different roles that are marked for volunteer, and we're going to try and fill those in with specific names by the end of today as much as we can. So Ben is going to be getting your emails. I see Josh just shared his. Thank you, Josh. Everyone else, either in Slack or in the Q&A app, post your Google email, and Ben will get this spreadsheet shared with you. Thank you, Peter. Let's see, someone else had a question. Andrew had a question. Will the same venue hold the higher count? I know some of the rooms were pretty full, planning on a new location. Good question. The Saturday venue we have locked in. We're going to be at the Rackham facility in the University of Michigan, and that definitely has sufficient capacity for our intended attendee numbers. Our Friday venue is still to be secured. We're looking at a couple places, but we will be sure to secure a place that has adequate capacity. So thank you for asking. Ben, you're on top of getting everyone shared with the spreadsheet.
Trying to get the sheet right now.
Okay, great.
Let's see. Is it in the organizer rules?
Responsibilities for, no, yeah, 2016 organizer roles. Share that with everyone. Give everyone read, view only access to that spreadsheet.
With the link, yeah.
Thank you. All right, great. Thank you, Evan, Josh, Steve, Andrea, for sharing your emails. Great. All right, we're doing really, really good. I'm seeing people pop in. So you're going to see when you jump into the spreadsheet that the responsibilities are broken up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different teams, if you will. And each team basically has a assigned leader. And that person isn't responsible for doing all of the work, just for ensuring that it gets done. So that would, if you take on tasks that are within a certain team, the person who's the leader of that team will be the person responsible for answering your questions, helping you get it done, and nagging you if you get behind. So we're going to walk through each of these and see, answer any questions that you have about them, and describe the tasks that are available, and try and fill in some of these areas with someone's name. So this is the best opportunity for you to kind of claim things that you're interested in helping out with. Great. I'm seeing more people pop into the spreadsheet. Thank you. Give everybody just a second to hop in there and see what we're looking at. And I'm going to kind of go through these one at a time. A couple of them Ben will talk about, the rest I'll cover, and just describe what is available to help out with. So first section, we have the speakers. Speakers are obviously a super important part of the event, and it was very interesting to observe this past year when we looked at our survey results. We got a lot of feedback, a lot of comments, and general feedback about the event, and the vast majority of the feedback that we got had to do with the sessions and the speakers, and any complaints that anyone had, and there were very few, pretty much always had to do with someone not getting what they expected from a session. And so we really took that to heart, and a big priority for this year's event is working on making sure that we get top-notch presentations put together, that speakers have plenty of time to prepare their talks, plenty of time to review them with us, plenty of time to practice their sessions, and that the content of their sessions is very clearly communicated to attendees, so no one walks into a session with an expectation and then gets surprised because it's not what they wanted, which was the #1 thing that people had a problem with. And when I say what people complained or had a problem, it wasn't a big issue. Far and away, our feedback was positive from last year, but there were some people who had expectations that weren't met. So we're going to work on that and try and please everyone, because we know that that's totally possible, right? All right. So speakers. I am the group leader for the speakers section. It's something that I'm going to be focusing on a lot this year. I'm already working on it. The call for speakers is open. I'm already working on recruiting as many speakers as possible, trying to get great speakers to put us on their schedule and commit to coming to our event and booking a keynote and things like that. There are a few things in this section that I would very much appreciate some help with if anyone is interested. So you'll see that there's a few things in rows 12, 13, 16, and 17 marked for volunteer. These are examples of things that would be very useful to have someone raise their hand and say, I can help you out with that, Kyle. And a lot of this is like publishing content on the website. Speaker interviews, the process for collecting speaker interviews is to, once all of the speakers have been selected and confirmed their availability, we send out a survey to them that they fill out, and we send out like a Google form, and that goes into a spreadsheet, and they answer questions about themselves. And we use that information to publish a single post about every speaker on the site leading up to the event, so that attendees can know about the speakers and learn about them and get more excited about coming. Last year or the year before, I don't remember, I used Zapier to set up some kind of a trigger that when someone fills out the survey, that it goes into the spreadsheet, but it also creates a draft of a post on the WordCamp Ann Arbor site. And all we had to do is go in and kind of tweak it and edit it. So you can make this a pretty simple process, but basically somebody has to be responsible for making sure that the survey goes to the speakers fill out the survey, the content from the surveys gets published on the site, and we usually drip it out in a kind of like, not all at once, but every few days or something like that. So that's an example of something that we need. Ben?
Sorry, Kyle. Some people I think are still not in the spreadsheet that want to be. Anyone that needs to get in, you should have received an invite on your Google Drive.
Great. Yeah. If you want into the spreadsheet, just simply make sure your Google email is shared with us in some fashion. Most people are dropping it here in the Q&A app on the Hangout. But like I say, it looks like there's 6 people looking at the spreadsheet right now. All right. And Ben, you're answering questions and stuff.
I don't think I can answer them in the chat here. I don't think you have me as a moderator.
I wonder how I can do that. How can I?
I can see the questions. Doesn't look like I can answer them.
I don't know how to make you a moderator. Okay. Well, anyway, you can just speak and answer if it's an answer to the group or something. Just let me know. All right. It looks like everyone who is viewing, there's 7 viewers live, and there's 7 people in the spreadsheet. So I think everyone's there. All right. Great. So what's next? Speakers. So as you can see, there's just some very simple things. Posting things on the website is about the main thing that I need help with as the leader of the speakers group. And also, we encourage everyone who has any connection with anybody in the local community or in a national community at all to help us recruit speakers. So that's not just a single person's task. Just remind everyone that maybe who is in the world of website development and online marketing and design and business in the Ann Arbor, Lower Michigan area, or anybody in the WordPress community. Encourage them to come and apply to speak at our event. All right, so that's the speakers section. So just to reiterate for anybody who missed it, how this is going to work is we're going to go through all of these, and at any time during our discussion or after, somebody can raise their hand essentially and say, hey, can you put me down for this or that? That sounds interesting. That sounds like something I'd like to help with. All right, great. And some things, we may need to discuss if you want to volunteer something. There's a few things that are more complicated than others. so we may have to talk about it. But anyway, just feel free to raise your hand at any time or wait till the end and see what's still left. That's what we're going to do. So moving over to sponsors. Declan is responsible for the sponsors team. He's the one who has managed it for the past couple of years, and he's going to make sure that everything gets done. But there's a few things that he could use help with. Mostly, that's publishing blog posts on the site about each individual sponsor. That's a pretty simple process. And then also helping coordinate the sponsors on the day of the event so that all the sponsors are well taken care of, that they're able to bring their stuff in and set it up, and they have their questions answered and all that stuff. So pretty straightforward. Not a lot of help is needed with sponsors. Do we have any questions that we need to talk about?
It's hard for me to follow the questions because they pop in out of order in the list.
Okay, now to get into the spreadsheet.
It just kind of sorts them however it thinks it wants them. So Steve says that he wants to do swag and gifts. Steve Bennett.
Right. Okay, great. Just looking at who's got the document. Great. Okay, we're doing good. We're doing good. All right, so we've gotten through speakers and sponsors. Ben, do you want to talk about the volunteers team and what that entails?
Yeah, so the volunteers team, I mean, it's going to be everyone that is a volunteer. So I will be the organizer for this. I'll be contacting everyone about this. We're hoping to get team captains or a leader for each group. So you're going to end up with someone that could lead the video. And so someone who will make sure that there's someone setting up the video in every room, and that the cameras get turned on and off between the sessions, and that the batteries or that the cameras are always plugged in or the batteries aren't dead, and that they don't run out of space. So there's quite a bit to go on with the cameras. And if we do live streaming again, that's a whole nother thing. So we might need quite a few people on cameras or video. And there's post editing to go along with video as well. So if we can have someone who can lead not only during the day, but also in the post event and get the videos up on WPTV, that'd be great. Then we're going to have a front desk leader. The front desk leader will be basically responsible for everyone at registration, getting the t-shirts, greeters that will be telling people what they can, where they can go, what they can do at the event, just making sure everyone's at home. A happiness leader would be someone who is leading the happiness bar. So you need lots of people helping at the happiness bar for anyone that has any question about WordPress or websites, hosting, or anything, because people can come with questions at any level. So you don't even have to be a guru to help at the happiness bar. You just have to be able to point someone in the right direction. Then we're going to have a live stream team. So that may be the same as the video team, might be separate. Probably best if it is a separate team or someone different leading each of those, because they are quite different. And then someone who will be responsible for setting up and tearing down, making sure we have people helping to do all of those things during the day. I have taken on the responsibility of making sure that we have the video equipment. We have a volunteer form up on the website for anyone to sign up as a volunteer. So if you know anyone that wants to volunteer, they can just fill out the list and they'll be added to our MailChimp list if they fill out the form on the website. And then video post-production, hopefully we can get quite a few people to help with that. And Kyle or I might be the ones leading the charge for getting the post-production done. That's all the roles that we need for volunteer leadership on the day of the event and a couple after. Any questions?
All right. So we're getting some good questions in the chat. Steve asks if maybe we pick items we would like to take on. Yes, we're going to be walking through every different item that's on the list to do. You can claim it, by just raising your hand for it at the time that we talk about it, or wait until the end, see what's available, see what you're interested in, and then indicate that at that time. We'll put your name down, and that'll be your responsibility. So, a couple people indicated, Evan and someone else indicated that they would be interested in helping with content. There's a number of different tasks relating to content. So we're going to need to get a little bit more specific so we can walk through the rest of these and see what types of content is available. That's one of the biggest responsibilities that was a difficult thing for us as organizers to take care of past years, and we felt like we could improve upon, was getting content published on the website. More information to give to attendees and anyone else involved in the event, help better promote our speakers, better promote our sponsors, and give more important information to our attendees, and try and sell more tickets. To all those ends, we could be better at publishing more content on the site. So I've put Josh down for the speaker-related content, and we're going to be, let's see, going through your questions here. Stephen Byer says, I think we need to have a solid timetable to give time to have the data. If it happens at the end and it adds potential for failure. Stephen, I completely agree with you. We are working really hard to get an early start on this. I will say that as WordCamps go, WordCamp Ann Arbor is pretty good in terms of planning. We are ahead of the curve. If you look at all the other WordCamps out there in the world, we are one of the most well organized. And I know a lot of the organizers of other WordCamps around the country, and attend a lot of WordCamps and speak at a lot of WordCamps, and know for a fact that we are doing pretty good, but we could always do better. So we're trying to get a rush on this early on. When would you like to get our ideas on possible solutions to the issues you raised? That problem should be able to just speakers early. Right, Stephen, I agree with you. It is important for us to get the speakers selected early. So we've got the call out for speakers open now, which is way, way, way ahead of time compared to all other WordCamps, but barely enough time in my own mind. So we're going to leave the call for speakers open for a couple months because we've got a lot of time, and then we're going to take a couple weeks after that to select the speakers and confirm their availability. And then we will still have several months before WordCamp for speakers to prepare their presentations and for us to promote those speakers. So that's kind of the rough timetable we're looking at. Late spring, early summer is when we would be basically closing the call for speakers and selecting them. And then we would have basically the whole summer into fall to promote them and give them time to prepare their sessions. All right. Any new questions? Questions do kind of come in out of order here. I've never used the Q&A out before. Yeah. All right. Ben, keep an eye on these questions, see if there's anything special that comes up that we need to address.
Okay.
And I'll move into parties. Let's talk about the parties team. Justin is the main person responsible for making sure that our parties, which is kind of a broad term, take place and are excellent. And Justin took care of most of it last year as well. This includes the speaker sponsored dinner, I should say, which active volunteers and organizers are invited to attend to as well. This also includes the after party, which will take place Saturday evening, and it includes organizing lunch both days. Now, what we're tentatively looking at for Friday is seeing if we can get lunch catered. We might do box lunches or something brought in so attendees don't have to leave. That's the tentative plan for Friday if we can make it happen. And then the lunch plan for Saturday is going to be similar to the last 2 years, where we break up into topical groups and disperse downtown Ann Arbor, give our attendees, especially traveling attendees, a chance to experience our beautiful city and some of the local eateries, and people with common interests to get a chance to informally sit down and discuss topics they like. So it's been a popular thing last year, for the last couple of years, but we do want to try and do it a little bit better. So we're going to try and have the lunch groups organized a little more effectively. That's going to include having kind of backup group leaders for groups that get a little bit too large. We're going to try and make sure that we get in touch with these restaurants ahead of time and make sure there's adequate space so we don't have any situations with not enough space for a group. We're going to try and cap the limit of a group, and if groups get too big, we'll fracture them into separate groups with separate group leaders on certain topics, and things like that. We're going to do as much as we can to make the lunch groups as well organized and clear as possible, because they're, for the most part, they were quite popular, but there are a few people left confused or dissatisfied, and we want to help improve that. So in terms of parties, we need people who are able to like get in touch with those local restaurants and things to look into catering for our Friday and lunch for our Saturday, and also organizing those lunch groups like we did this past year, and generally backing up Justin as he tries to put together really good events for the speaker sponsored dinner and for the after party. So that's a pretty important thing. People really value the parties, and a lot can go into organizing them. So anybody can raise their hand and put their names down for that. As far as the venue goes, not a lot of help from volunteers is needed. Mark is the lead on making sure that the venue is secured and everything relating to getting the venue and the rooms that we need is taken care of. He's doing a great job with that. He could sometimes use a little bit of backup, but not very much to worry about now. Maybe some day of stuff, but not important at this time. When it comes to the swag, that's the next team. Ross is responsible for making sure that we get some good stuff for everybody. And last year was really successful. We had got a lot of great feedback on the stuff that we came up with, the gifts and the t-shirts and the fleeces that we gave to speakers and sponsors, and whatever else we had. Those were pretty popular. And so I really learned the significance of those things to attendees. People really appreciate high quality stuff, especially those of us who go to a lot of events. It really stands out. So I've had a bunch of people go out of their way to just comment like how much they appreciated, you know, the cool t-shirts or the awesome fleeces and stuff like that. So we're going to invest in that and make sure that we get real quality stuff, and the decisions on what to order and the designs for them and the materials and what else, that's going to be kind of a group effort. A number of us organizers are definitely going to be involved in the selection of the right things for our attendees. But we are looking for volunteers who want to work with our vendors to order the right stuff, to get the right prices for us, to make sure we get sufficient quantity, it gets shipped here on time, and it gets delivered to the venue, and we can distribute appropriately and no surprises. So Steve is looking to help out with that. I appreciate that. So that's going to be mostly taken care of. The only other things that we could use more volunteers on relating to the swag is anybody who just generally wants to offer their input, suggest cool ideas of things. Those are always welcome. You can jump into Slack at any time and just make suggestions or email us or something if you think you know where we can get good deals on stuff, or if you think of unique gifts that might be appreciated by our speakers and our attendees. Other than that, there's not a lot that we really need help with in that department. Down in kind of the promotion team, this is like our outreach section. Anything that has to do with communicating with people before the event, and especially selling more tickets and getting us in front of more people. So we're really, as I said, upping the attendance count this year. 400 is a pretty sizable event, and we want to make sure we can sell all those tickets. And we've got to outreach like crazy. So we want to take full advantage of our social media. And we want to have excellent content on the web that clearly describes everything so people know what they should expect. And we want to have as many blog posts go out as we possibly can over the course of this year. So this is one of the biggest areas really where volunteers are invited to participate. We are really eager to get volunteers helping us with managing our social media and managing our site. Evan helped out a lot with this last year, and some other people did. So feel free to raise your hand if you're just generally interested in helping with the content. If you're somebody who likes managing a Twitter account or a Facebook account, we could have in a perfect world, we'd have a couple people on top of those managing any mentions that we get or posts that we get at us, and making sure that any content we publish on the site gets posted there, and just generally helping create a buzz around our event. And the website content is a pretty big deal. I think there's a lot of writing that needs to be done to effectively communicate everything about our event on the site. And we want to blog a lot more. On the WordCamp Ann Arbor site, we want to post a lot more interesting content, like things that would appeal to prospective attendees. We talked about, posts about speakers and sponsors, but we also want to post things about, like, how did things go last year? What kind of feedback did we get? Or post videos from sessions that took place last year or the year before, just so people can get a sense of what they could maybe expect from this event. Or post examples of reasons that you might want to attend a WordCamp, or what kinds of things you'll learn. There's a lot of things that we could post better on our site to just improve that communication and give people more, or get people more excited about this this WordCamp. All right, let's see. So promotion is one of the biggest areas where we need help. All right. Attendees, this is another team that doesn't have a group leader. And as the lead organizer, anything that doesn't get claimed, I'm gonna just put my name down and take care of. But there's a lot that I've gotta do. So really looking for somebody to step up, or a number of people to step up and help out with all of the miscellaneous stuff that goes into ensuring that people who have bought a ticket are well taken care of. So as you can see, looking through the list, this is basically anything that has to do with helping people who have bought a ticket have a good experience. This can be sending out newsletter type emails to communicate to attendees about what they should expect, what they should know, what might be interesting to them, things like maps on how to get to the event and where to park, things like if this is your first event, here's what you should expect and what you should do and what we recommend. Sending out the survey to everyone after the event has taken place. One of the things that's been challenging the last couple of years, I don't know if it'll be as big of a problem this year, but was dealing with our waiting list, which got quite large. Declan took care of it, and it was quite a burden last year when the waiting list got huge, and then facilitating tickets going to waiting lists, people that from others who ended up not being able to attend. So someone being responsible for that would just be huge for us. All right, so promotion and attendees are like the two teams where we need the most help. All the rest of the stuff, everyone's welcome to help, but these are the two teams where we need the most help, promotion and attendees. So take a look closely, if you will, at the list of things there, and feel welcome to mention a particular one that we should put your name down for. Contributor Day and Foundation Friday, I'll just talk about these together. These are basically what we're thinking about for Friday. This is our tentative plan at this time, is that the Friday event will be a little bit different than Saturday typically is. Friday is going to consist of a Contributor Day / Foundation Friday. So if nobody's ever been to a Foundation Friday before, it's a popular thing to do, but basically it's helping serve the needs of those who need to learn the basics, really, and get up to speed so they can get more value from what we do on Saturday. So it's going to be a lot of 101 type sessions, and maybe even a track for a 201 type sessions as well, depending on the number of rooms that we have. We're going to have at least one room dedicated to WordPress contributions. And there's going to be a number of people there explain how you can get involved in contributing to WordPress in different ways. That could be through contributing to WordPress core, or writing documentation, or helping out on support forums, organizing events, organizing meetups, helping moderate WordPress TV videos, translating things if you're bilingual, all kinds of ways that you can help contribute to WordPress. We're going to get a number of people there to help present mini sessions on that and just handhold you through the process of, for example, getting a contribution into WordPress core, which is very exciting. And then the other tracks on Friday are going to consist of foundation type sessions where we're going to be laying out basically a curriculum and getting sessions, getting speakers to fill those sessions and cover basics, like all the basics that people need to know to really be empowered and learn from what we cover on Saturday. Saturday is then going to be more of open for all of our regular, not regular, all of our really special sessions. So typically we would be combining a lot of things on a Saturday where we have a lot of types of sessions like beginners, like getting started with WordPress, or how to use the WordPress dashboard, or what are plugins, or SEO 101, and a lot of these kinds of sessions that are very fundamental stuff that those of us who've been doing this for a while, or those of us who learned those kinds of things, probably wouldn't have a particular interest in, but it's important for us to cover. So what we're going to try and do is dedicate Friday to that stuff, to all those people who need to get up to speed, who want to learn all these things and cover the basics. We're going to have sessions for that. And then on Saturday, we're going to have all the amazing sessions that speakers propose and submit, and not as many of those kind of walkthrough type sessions. Okay. So that's the tentative plan at this time. And we're going to be looking for speakers to cover Foundation Friday sessions and Contributor Day sessions. We're thinking about having maybe for the foundation sessions, like supplemental material that people can take and learn from, so that it's really, really a learning exercise. Everybody gets up to speed, so that Saturday is more valuable. We did get lots of feedback. It's always the interesting thing when we get a lot of feedback from people, how many conflicting recommendations we get, or requests we get. There's a large number of people who say, please cover more technical topics. I don't want to go if it's just beginner stuff. And a lot of people who say the exact opposite. Please stop covering technical stuff. I really need the beginner material. And a lot of people in between. I really need intermediate material. Everything's either over my head or below my skill set. So we have a diverse group of people very interested in attending, but we want to do our best to make it valuable to everyone. So we'll take care of Contributor Day and Foundation Friday, but you're welcome to help if those are kinds of things that interest you. All right, so I've seen a lot of things pop up in the chat here, trying to catch up. Ben, do we have anything new to cover?
Nothing that's not on the agenda for later.
All right, you're watching these Q&As come in?
Yeah, I've been trying to. I've been scrolling up and down constantly looking for stuff.
Right. Okay. I do want to make one note, since Stephen brought up about the video. Video, no one was happy with last year. We were all quite disappointed in how the video went, and we're not pointing any fingers. It was nobody's fault. It was just a lot to handle, and some things didn't work out quite as we expected them to. And so we definitely want to do that a lot better. So we are considering a couple of things. One, we are considering getting a much better, more well-organized, dedicated team of volunteers to video. And they have no other responsibilities, and they have a team leader, and they have all the equipment they have, and they're just focused on video. And we feel like that is warranted. For us to get anything quality, we need them to be completely dedicated to video, and have a leader and adequate training to use the equipment, because last year was not effective. Our other option that we are considering is hiring a company to do the video. So that's the decision that's not quite been made. We're still kind of debating it. We'll look at our budget. We'll look at see if there's vendors available that we believe we can count on. Some of you may recall that in 2014, we tried that. We hired a particular individual to do it, and that didn't exactly work out because the person went AWOL and we never got our videos, although we did pay them. So a source of serious frustration for us, and we're a little jaded in that respect. But then we tried to do it ourselves the next year, and it's not like the results were very much better. So video is kind of in question, but we're interested in getting everyone's input. If there are people very passionate about doing video and willing to dedicate their time to helping us make it great, we might just forget about the idea of hiring anybody to do it. But if we don't get really great volunteers who know their stuff and want to record these sessions well, we will probably seek help from an outside firm. All right. Let's go back through these questions here.
Question about the Friday beginner and Saturday technical. Would that limit who would attend on each day? The Friday beginner classes would be specifically for people who are just getting into WordPress at a pretty beginner level, and hopefully those people would then attend on Saturday and learn more. For people who are more advanced on Friday, we're going to have contributor day, and hopefully those people who already know all of the basics will be attending contributor day and learning how to contribute to the WordPress project or the foundation, the community. And hopefully that won't limit who would attend on those days. Fridays are usually a pretty low turnout due to people not being able to get off of work, or it's really just that primer that hopefully will get people a little more info to be able to keep up with the Saturday.
Right. Great. Thanks, Ben. And I think you're right. And we definitely plan on securing a venue that is large enough to accommodate our full attendee list on Friday. We definitely have it on Saturday. Everyone can show up on Saturday. Friday, we will do our best to not have to limit attendance. Traditionally, Foundation Fridays don't get as many attendees as the Saturday full sessions for reasons like, many people have to work on Friday, and also it doesn't cater to advanced users. We have a number of those who would not get as much out of it, except we're hoping to get them to come to the contributor sessions. And we'll see what we can do there. But basically, we don't plan on limiting attendance for either of the days. Everybody can come to both is our plan. All right, other questions?
Let's see. So there was a question about headquarters. I can just cover headquarters now.
Yeah, talk about that, Ben.
So we have a plan for there being headquarters this year for volunteers. So hopefully we will have a room for volunteers. I was just talking to Mark Montague about getting a room specifically for those. It looks like there's plenty of rooms on the floor. We have the entire 4th floor of this facility at our disposal. And just a place where the lead for the volunteers, as well as a few other people, would be there all day long, so that any volunteer that has a problem, they don't know where they need to be, they don't know when they're supposed to be somewhere, they could walk into that room and get their answer, or get someone to go help someone else. And then we wouldn't be leaving that unattended at all. So just a base camp, hopefully, for volunteers to be able to pop in and get out of the crowd, maybe, somewhere that they can sit and chat, or just a way to make it a little more streamlined for the event. So everyone would meet in this room, or have a specific place where we're going to meet at the beginning of the event or whenever you show up, and nobody is lost and nobody is in doubt of where they need to be.
Right. Yeah, I think that's important. So we're going to be doing our best. I don't know if we'll have an extra room on both days to secure that, but we're going to try and get something. All right. So I'm still getting used to this goofy Q&A app, but I'm kind of just answering all of these questions or marking them as answered. Let's see. The leader of the volunteer room would need to have a bag of tricks, phone numbers to contact floaters. Right. So if someone was, Stephen, if someone was dedicated to this, what do we call it? This room? Headquarters?
Volunteer headquarters.
Right. We'd ensure that we would give them whatever they need, or that person could ask for whatever they need, and that's totally a good idea. That we have any team leaders or group leaders have contact information for the others. Let's see, Stephen, I think I agree with you that we might have a fair number of advanced programmers and users. Let's see. Josh, I've put you down for some speaker related content. Marked you down for that. All right, Andrea, I could do front desk or speakers helper leader. Where is that? Let's put Andrea down here. Andrea, put you down row 28, stay as speakers help front desk leader. Okay, so you'd have to pick one or the other, speakers helper or front desk leader. Andrea has a question. Any plans to visually show who the volunteers are, such as a different color shirt or badge? Potentially. We've talked about it in the past. I like the idea, definitely, if we can. If it doesn't complicate things too much in terms of like ordering different color shirts or something, or different color badges, then I have no problem with it. At least it could be as simple as just a sticker on the badge, or we find, if we have time, different colors. But I like that idea. All right. Steve pointed out that photography, I'm going to put that down under venue, I guess. Because it would be really great to have a dedicated photographer, and Steve would like to do it. All right. Oh, Andrea would like to be front desk leader. Let's do that. Right. I'm working my way through these questions. Done. Stephen Byer would like to help with promotion. I take that to mean the promotion team that needs help with social media and website content and blogging. Stephen, if you would be interested in being a little more specific, if there's any of those that you care about in particular, otherwise we'll assign you to one of them. Let's see.
Ooh, childcare question.
Let's see. Childcare question. We have a childcare question?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Evan asks, is there any plan to offer some sort of childcare, as was mentioned in the survey? That is a good question that was pending the results of the survey, which we sent out. I checked the results a few days ago, and the answers looked like we had several maybes and no yeses and a lot of no's for childcare. So I think if we got a few yeses, we would do our best. That doesn't even guarantee that we could secure it, because we might not have a room, not have a place for someone dedicated to childcare. But I like the idea, and if there's an interest in it, which currently it didn't look like there was, but if there was, we would definitely do everything we could to make it possible. That's as good as I can do for an answer right now. Steve would like a backup on photography. I'm going to make a note for photography backup.
Steve.
Okay, thank you, Steve. So that's another thing that's available for anybody who's good with a camera and wants to help out day of. Just kind of the guy. Okay, Stephen Bayer has a question. Who publishes W article stating assistant work does analysis? Yes, Jason Tucker is a whiz with video. He would be a good person to talk to. I'll probably be bumping into him at an event later this year. And Stephen, I like your suggestion. I'm going to talk to him about that stuff. Do you need mothers to help with childcare? Is that what you're asking? Steve, when it comes to childcare, we haven't gotten so far as trying to determine how we would solve the problem. First, we want to determine if it even is a problem. So that's why we asked the question, is anyone interested in trying to provide childcare? We've heard of other events providing that as a service, maybe a room at the venue dedicated to childcare with a professional or someone there at all times. We will solve that problem if we determine it's a problem. And by that, I mean people express a desire for us to cover that. So far, no one has said that they want us to do it. So we might not. But if they do, I'm not sure how we'll solve it. We might see if there's a professional caregiver that we would use some of our budget to compensate, or maybe volunteers. I'm not sure how to handle that.
In-kind sponsorship if we...
Right, yeah. Anything like that.
that.
We've done in-kind sponsorships before if we had to. Stephen Bayer says, I would like to become more involved overall, so I'd be willing to listen to any task that needs filling in my skill set. Won't. I will let you know I am good with a camera. Okay, good with a camera, Stephen. All right, then we might need to just talk directly to see where you fit well and see what else is available. If you're good with a camera, I don't know if you mean video camera for recording or photography as a backup to the other Steve. You can let us know there. We might, some people are probably going to say, I don't really have much of a preference. Put me where you will. If that's the case for you, that's totally fine. Just let us know. And we will take a look at what's still available after we're done with this discussion and suggest some things to you that we think are the most urgent. All right. We're working our way through these questions. Steve is also willing to help with content. All right. So that's a couple more people willing to help with content. We've got to break down into something more specific. We've got a lot of types of content that need to be published, stuff that pertains to attendees, or people that we want to sell tickets to, or promoting our sponsors, and managing the actual static website content that's on our site, like descriptions of our venue, directions, lodging options, our policies, and what to expect as a first-time attendee, stuff like that. There's a lot of static content on the website that needs to exist that someone needs to help write or help, editorialize from past year. So if anybody, and for everybody who said, I would like to help with content, we are looking for people to claim very specific types of content. And if you don't care, we will put your name down for something in the end. All right, working my way through, we're getting there. Steve said he'll procure the swag and gifts. That is great, very much appreciated for your help, Steve. We will be collaborating on that. Swag is, we are determining it's important enough that we need to take it very seriously. So you'll be taking kind of the lead on that. And collaborating with me and probably a couple other organizers to try and make the best decisions possible. And we're going to try and move on that sooner rather than later. All right. Evan said his wife would volunteer for childcare. Okay, cool. Thank you. Noted, Evan, and very much appreciated. We'll see where that goes and reach out to you if we need help. Updating WCA2 content. All right. Steve asked if Josh needs some help with the interviews. I think the interviews are not one of the harder tasks. It's pretty much a one-person job, but if you're interested in helping with something like that, probably a better choice would be blogging on WCA2 or editing the general website content, publishing posts about sponsors, and publishing posts for attendees.
Hold on, I got another Hangout started. Hey, Dave.
Yo.
Still an on-air Hangout.
Okay, I'll hang up.
All right, later.
Questions that we've answered. I can do
Sorry about
for attendees. Okay, so I think we've answered this question for Andrea. Okay, Stephen would like to volunteer for the video team. Stephen, I'm going to put you down. Video leader. Stephen. Great. Okay, Stephen, row 26, you're now down as the day of video leader. You'll collaborate with me on that a little bit ahead of time as we make the decision about whether that's going to be outsourced or handled by volunteers. Either way, you're gonna be heavily involved in the process, and there's a lot that goes into that. If we handle it with volunteers, we've got to get a lot of stuff ahead of time, and you and I will touch base there. All right, done. All right. All right, answered a lot of these questions already. Right, Stephen asked a question that I think we answered by talking about headquarters. All right, Evan would like to handle Facebook posts. I'm gonna put you down there, Evan, great. That's some names and places, that's very exciting. Updating speaker profiles. Josh has got the speaker profiles covered, I think. Okay, great. Andrea would like to help with the swag. I'm gonna put you down the swag back up, Andrea. Great. Does Friday have a technical limit? We answered that question. Great. Stephen does suggest again that we talk to Jason Tucker. I'll do my best to do that. All right, great. Reading another question from Stephen. Oh, we answered that question already. I didn't realize before when I was answering these questions that I could select and indicate that they're answered. Phones, yeah, day of, I think we will have to have everyone's phone number exchanged.
Yeah.
Speaker interviews, Steve expressed an interest in helping with that. I think the speaker interviews will probably be pretty simple because we can replicate what we did last year and modify as we want to improve it. And as I said, I had most of the process automated. I'll walk whoever is responsible through the process. Evan wants to help with some attendee related stuff. Let me see if I can put your name down. Evan.
It'd be nice if someone could follow up this year to the people that didn't fill it out, because I didn't realize I didn't fill out an interview last year.
Oh yeah, someone responsible for speaker interviews. So I guess if Josh is responsible for speaker interviews, he would be responsible for making sure both that it gets sent to speakers and that they get reminded to complete it. For people like Ben who are slackers.
Yeah, people like me who need constant reminders.
Yeah. All right. Evan.
We could use MailChimp for that as well.
Yeah. Well, we probably will. We'll have a MailChimp list of speakers and send the survey to them. All right. So I'll put Evan down for announcements. A couple things right there. That should be good. Speaker sessions helper. Stephen, speakers sessions helper. Great.
Nice.
Stephen, row 28. I put you down. Wait, you're the video leader. That's a conflict.
I think he wanted to help with selecting speakers.
Oh.
Clarify, Stephen.
Yeah. Static content or Twitter, Steve. Yeah, someone on Twitter would be awesome.
Yeah, we need someone responding on Twitter and making sure that nothing things get deleted when
Right.
things can go wrong.
Yeah, Steve's stepping up and taking a lot of stuff. I appreciate that. I'm very, very grateful to each and every one of you as you put your name down on some of these things. Super appreciative. All right. I think we have answered every question in the Q&A. Yes, Cowabunga. All right. So let's see if anybody's pinged me on Slack. Great. Okay. We are kicking butt here. At this time, I'm going to do a quick review of what is still available and what I think are the bigger things. Right. Stephen asks, I think the video is more demanding, so helping speakers should be an alternate for no show. Right. Okay. Stephen, I agree with you. Video would be a very demanding task. Maybe less so if we ended up outsourcing it, but still someone would be responsible for ensuring it's taken care of and that our team has what they need. So I guess if a decision is made at a later date to change that, honestly, I would prefer it if you stick with being the video leader, and we can find someone else to help speakers. That's a pretty simple responsibility, unless you feel like you'd prefer and change your mind. Steve, not day of Twitter. I'm going to put day of Twitter as a separate item. Volunteer for social media day of. Understood. Up to the event, Steve is going to be responsible for our Twitter account. It would be great to have social media backup. It's just other people who have access to the social accounts. Great. All right, so I'm going to do a quick run through, a scan over this document, and I'm going to see anything else that I'm really worried about. So my big concerns at this point are mostly the attendee-related stuff. Everything that has to do with communicating with attendees, putting together maps for walking to places and parking and where our venues are, surveying our attendees, reaching out to former attendees to encourage them to come again, handling the refund and transfer requests, for our waiting list people, or for, that's a separate thing. But all that stuff is pretty big. We really need people to step up there. One of the other things that I'm concerned about is the lunch plans. Anybody interested in reaching out to local restaurants to see how we can get Friday catered and good destinations and group leaders assigned for our Saturday lunch? That's a big thing. Evan says any attendee related task that can be done remotely. Sweet. Evan, I'm going to put you down for a couple more things. Let's see. Evan, let's grab that. Evan and Evan. All right, Andrea wants to be put down for something for attendees. Andrea, surveying. Andrea, let's see what you need to know, emails. All right, we're doing pretty good. So as I said, we're filling up some of the attendees stuff. I'm just going to put myself as the group leader there. And a couple things. Lunch is a big problem. Small problem, I should say. And then any help that I can get for Foundation Friday, that's going to be a bit of work trying to plan out. It's going to be a little different than normal WordCamp sessions where we let the speakers apply, submit what they want to speak, and we can give them the thumbs up or down. But for Friday, we're going to be mapping out the content that we want ahead of time and basically getting speakers to fill up all of that content and helping them with putting together really good sessions and providing supplemental material to those attending the sessions. All right, so I see Peter's down for developing the session schedule. Great. So, great. Good job, everybody, stepping up for stuff. Karen is willing to help with the front desk too. Let's see. So at this time, you may notice that there's a lot of open stuff for day of responsibilities. So what we're looking for is more people to take responsibility for these areas. And so if someone is responsible for the front desk, in this case, Andrea is the front desk leader assigned. She and Ben will be working together to recruit more volunteers to man the front desk and be able to check people in, give them their t-shirts and their lanyards and direct them to where they need to go and all that kind of stuff. So that person is going to be responsible for recruiting more people to do so. All right. Steve asks who was ordering the name tags with all the event info. Lindsay has been taking care of that the last couple of years, and she's pretty much got it down. So she's just going to step up and take care of that again, probably. All right. I see Mark is popping in. Welcome, Mark. Let's see. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pretty much conclude. And if you have any interest in grabbing more spots, just reach out to Ben or myself and let us know. And what I want is to make sure that anyone who has taken a spot gets in direct communication with the leader of that group. So for example, if you are helping me with speakers, you and I should talk directly about that. So I'm going to talk with Josh because he stepped up to do the speaker interviews. And I'm going to coach him through that process. And if you volunteered to help with, promotion, you're going to talk with Ross, and he's going to make sure that you have access to the social media accounts that you need and stuff like that. A lot of the day of stuff you may notice is not covered extensively here because that isn't our focus yet. As the event comes closer, we're going to move more into focusing on that, and kind of team leaders here, as they need them, are going to be recruiting more volunteers to help do things like set up and tear down and man cameras and be room runners and help introduce speakers and help the front desk and man the happiness bar and all that stuff. But that isn't a priority at this time, day of volunteers. All right, Peter, thank you for tuning in. Okay, I don't know if we've got if anybody else has any other questions before we conclude, but I just want to reiterate, please get in touch directly with your group leader and describe or indicate that you are taking responsibility for something, and we'll go from there. All right. Anything else to add, Ben, that we missed?
Let's see if we covered everything on the agenda. I think we did. Nobody has stepped up for the happiness bar. We didn't have happiness bar on there, did we?
It's somewhere. No, a day of happiness leader. Peter took that.
Oh, Peter took it. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. Okay, so we're doing really, really good. I'm really, really grateful to everybody who's tuned in. Thank you so much for helping us put together a great event. I am extremely encouraged and think that this is going to be the best year yet. Steven suggests that we do a dry run before the event. I think that's a pretty good idea. I like that. We'll probably have discussions about that kind of thing in a month or so before the event. we get a copy or access to this spreadsheet?
I think the plan is that the spreadsheet of what roles during the conference might be publicly available on the website. Andrew Middleton expressed interest in that being clear and open, whose job is what. If you were a volunteer, it gives recognition to volunteers on the website and gives them a quick way to look up where do I need to be during the day.
Right.
And who what.
Yeah, there will be a day of schedule for sure. And this spreadsheet that we've shared with you is going to remain accessible to you. So you can always refer back to this. I'm going to be doing everything I can to fill in names anywhere that I see a volunteer in this sheet. That's going to be a priority of mine in the short term. If I have to put my name down more times, then I will. Otherwise, we'll find more people. Maybe the few people who are unable to attend, we'll take a few more things and we'll be all set. All right. I think that answers Stephen's question. Evan, thank you for joining us. Okay, so we're in pretty good shape. Let's kick butt, guys. And we're good.
All right.
All right. Thanks a lot.